Scout's owner thought she had just caught the strangest little thief in the building. 1 second, a quarter sat in the vending tray. The next, it was in Scout's mouth. Outside the corner deli, he ignored a biscuit completely. His nose went under the wet patio table, found a rain-soaked nickel, and picked that up instead as Laura watched. Back home, Scout didn't eat it or chew it. He dropped the coin into Ethan's red rain boot, then sat in front of it like nothing had happened. That week, the couch cushions were empty. Ethan's backpack had no change. Even under the coffee table, Scout was quietly sliding one more dime toward himself, right under Laura's eyes. Laura tried locking every coin in a jar. She rolled out a treat puzzle, but Scout only watched the jar. When one penny fell, his paw covered it instantly. Then, on a rainy walk, Scout stopped at the shelter window. A jar sat by the door, and inside, a volunteer slid a soft blanket under a waiting dog. That evening, Scout grabbed the red boot and slipped into the covered parking lot. When coins spilled across the wet pavement, he stopped to gather every one instead of running. Laura and Ethan followed him to the shelter door. Scout set the boot beside the donation jar, then quietly dropped one careful quarter at its base. Nobody spoke. Suddenly, the stealing looked completely different for the first time. At the kitchen table, Laura poured out the boot, Ethan counted the coins, and Scout rested quietly by her sneaker. The next day, those coins went onto a pet store counter. Ethan picked soft fleece blankets, and Scout sniffed them like he already knew where they belonged. At the shelter, Ethan carried the blankets inside. Scout carried the empty red boot, set it down by the desk, and waited as the volunteer picked one up. Down the kennel hallway, the first blanket slid onto the floor. A tired gray, muzzled shelter dog circled once, lay down, and rested its chin in the fleece. After that, the red boot stayed in the apartment lobby. Neighbors dropped in quarters, Scout nudged it straight, and the little thief became the building's quiet helper. And at sunset, he sat outside the shelter window with that boot between his paws, watching shelter dogs sleep warm behind the glass. What would your pet do with pocket change?